Breakfast foods are terrible for you and you should avoid them at all costs, but here are the very few that you can eat. Hey Wellness Warrior, I'm Dr. Nick Zyrowski, and when you look at the topic of breakfast, it gets a little frustrating because almost all breakfast foods are total trash. I don't know about you, but I grew up eating some of the worst foods you could imagine, thinking they're good, heart-healthy breakfast items that were going to improve your health, satiate you, and set you up for a day of success. Unfortunately, most people today start their day off wrong with a breakfast that is totally throwing off their metabolism. Let's take a look at a few of them before we talk about the ones you can have. The big one is cereal. I mean, I grew up eating cereal, some of the most sugar-filled, carb, processed food, nasty items that you could possibly eat. They taste great and any kid loves them. There's actually a whole aisle dedicated to it. I mean, they're all bright colors, there's toys in the boxes, and this is the thing that attracts people. And of course, there's that heart healthy label on it that just really throws you off because you're like, how could this possibly be heart healthy? And why would the American Heart Association endorse this garbage? But they do. Cereal's a big one. Toast is obviously terrible for you, typically covered with a fat and more sugar, jelly. And then we have bagels, muffins, flavored yogurt, and a lot of these different flavored yogurts that have some fruit flavoring in them, they have more sugar in them than a can of soda. And then also just a whole bunch of fruit. When you eat this for breakfast, it does something. It creates a huge spike in your insulin levels, a huge spike in your blood sugar. And what does that do? That causes more hunger and more cravings. And there's study after study that shows if you consume this type of food for breakfast, your blood sugar is higher all day, but also you're hungrier all day and you consume way more calories, which of course is going to lead to you gaining weight because you're never going to feel satiated. And if you really look at these foods right here, they aren't nutritionally dense at all. They're just big, huge carb loads that have very low nutritional quality. Where's the fats? Where's the proteins here? They don't exist. So that's why we have to switch the way that we think about breakfast. First of all, I want to say that I am all for skipping breakfast. I really never eat breakfast myself, typically once a week with my family, and it's just because it's something we enjoy as a family. But for the most part, I never eat breakfast because I intermittent fast, and I am all for that. But if you're somebody who's looking for some breakfast foods, and that's why you're here, because that's what I promise, I'm going to give you some good options as to what the gold standard is for somebody who's actually eating healthy. So the first thing that we can look to is going to be plain yogurt. We want to ditch this flavored sugar yogurt. Get plain yogurt. If you want to put some honey on it, if you want to put some berries in it, this is a good way to get some good fats, proteins, and also even have a nice low glycemic fruit added to it, which is going to be really tasty for you. And whenever you're eating yogurt, you should try to get full fat, grass-fed, and get the healthiest stuff that you can find. Next thing that we can look to is going to be eggs. Eggs are loaded with good healthy fats. It's a good protein. It's considered nature's multivitamin. So eggs are a great option for you. One of the things you're going to see that really goes together here with healthy breakfast is going to be proteins and fats, because that's what's going to satiate you and that's what's actually going to give you a good nutritionally dense breakfast. We're also going to look at things like bacon, having a meat in there, a good protein source, and then also a smoothie. A smoothie is a good place to go to for a good breakfast item. You can get a good protein powder, put it in there, lots of good antioxidant rich berries. You can put some really nutrient dense things like spinach in there. And you could even add some different fats. You could put like a coconut yogurt in. You could put a full fat yogurt in there in order to get some fats in there. So there's even ways to add some fats to your smoothie and then also get the antioxidants and all the vitamins and minerals that come with everything else you could put in it. The other thing that I want to look to is a bulletproof coffee. So if you have your coffee, you can put some butter in it, blend that up, and that also is a good fat-filled breakfast. I mean, that's a good way to have a keto breakfast, and that also is going to hold you over. Now, just like I said, there's study after study that says, hey, if you eat these foods, you eat more food throughout the day. You eat more calories. You are finding yourself in a position where you have hunger and cravings all day, and it's very frustrating, and of course, it leads to obesity and type 2 diabetes. But if you do the opposite and eat the foods that I just mentioned, it's going to kill the cravings. You're not going to find yourself hungry throughout the day, and like there's study after study that proves this takes you in the wrong direction. There's many studies that show if you eat eggs for breakfast, then you eat hundreds of less calories throughout the day. If you have a good protein for breakfast, you eat way fewer calories throughout the day. You have less cravings throughout the day. So this is why you want to stick to these good healthy breakfast foods and not this junk over here. I'm Dr. Zyrowski, and if you enjoyed this video, I think you'll like this one over here next.